Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and I have two topics to discuss with you in this latest Moon Lambo Hot Jam. And the first one, my God, this is exactly the type of stuff that I was saying was ultimately going to happen in crypto, even broadly speaking, back in 2018. I was talking about it on my YouTube channel, or if not then, because I started my channel at the very tail end of 2018. I know I was talking about it in the earliest of days, so certainly in 2019. Just this idea that we're in an increasingly liquid world, and that it makes sense to just tokenize all sorts of things, just about everything under the sun. You can own in an easy way, fractions of like a piece of art or a building. And so technically you can already do that today, of course, but it's messy, and the paperwork and the middlemen and then the slowness of it all. It just makes sense to put that all on blockchain. It just does. And then any native asset, will benefit from that in terms of price action. That's the theory anyway, as blockchains that help solve problems get further adopted. And so it was easy to see this. I don't even think this was a hard prediction to make, and I'm not the only one that believed this back then. But I think it was easy to believe and see why in the future, and it's really ramping up finally in 2024. It's easy to see that, of course, like all of these things should be tokenized. Stocks, even, right? Precious metals, all this stuff that's trading on these centralized exchanges. You should at least tokenize the thing. And so we're increasingly seeing. Now, the reason it matters to anybody who's an Xrp holder has to do with total value locked. As it turns out, people investing in the cryptocurrency asset class, they think that total value locked matters. And this is increasing it pretty much immediately, and it will to, presumably, if there's success with this, a very substantial degree. I also want to highlight some new data from Electric Capital, which is the company that runs Developer Report. They show that XRP developer activity full-time is down like 39%. Is that true, though? Ah, yes, well, interesting discussion. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so the news broke this morning. Here you have the headline from CoinDesk. Ripple to allocate $10 million to tokenized U.S. Treasury bills on XRP Ledger. Payments network Ripple will allocate $10 million to a tokenized version of the U.S. Treasury bills, or T-bills for short, that will become available on the XRP Ledger for the first time. And so I'll just pause to note, of course, the XRP Ledger has the world's first decentralized exchange built into it. The very first one. And this is the type of thing that was envisioned for XRP at inception. You can tokenize pretty much anything. And the ease of use with which things could flow. And it was a very novel idea at the time. And at this point, certainly in the world of crypto, it's well understood and accepted. Yes, this is the way forward. Back then, it was incredibly novel. XRP Ledger was the first to have this. And so it's good to see further adoption of this finally. But it's only been in recent times where it's been notable. I mean, fine, yes, there was a company even back in 2015 that tokenized gold on the XRP Ledger. There have been examples of that. But it just seems increasingly clear. Not only has the world accepted, mostly anyway, that yes, crypto is here to stay, as a result of that, you're seeing an increasing move in the direction of real world adoption. This materially matters. This is a thing that will help to ensure the long-term viability of XRP and the XRP Ledger. It's the same reason that other things matter, as having more value on the ledger, like the automated market maker, which we've been talking about a lot recently. All of that matters. The more stuff is tokenized, the better, broadly speaking. Anyway, piece continues. The short-term U.S. government debt is being issued as T-bill tokens by the tokenization platform Open Eden, according to a Thursday release. And by the way, this did come directly from Ripple. They had a whole write-up on it here. Assets backing the tokens will be invested in short-dated U.S. treasuries and reverse purchase agreements, repos, collateralized by U.S. treasuries. Repos are securities sold with an agreement to repurchase them at a higher price at a specified future date. Yeah, and so as far as T-bills, of course, I'm sure most of you are well familiar with the concept here, but there's a couple fun ways you can articulate what a T-bill is. Such as purchasing government debt, for example. Which is easy to understand why people would articulate it like that, because basically you're loaning your money to the government, and then there's the promise to pay back a certain interest rate over a set period of time, whether it's over the long haul, like 10 periods, or 10 years rather, or something shorter than that. Anyway, piece continues. The tokenization of tangible real-world assets and traditional financial securities is a growing sector of the crypto industry. It allows traditional assets, especially private and alternative assets, to be issued, managed, and distributed in a way that is considered more efficient than their off-chain counterparts. And so that right there, that is exactly what I was talking about over half a decade ago. And I'm not pretending like I'm the only one to have realized that that would be what would come to pass, but here we are. This is very good. And so again, as it pertains to total value locked, it's of critical importance. In fact, take a look at this. This is from Open Eden. They're the ones that are making this happen in conjunction with Ripple throwing in the $10 million. But they wrote here in part, Open Eden has over 90 million in United States dollars, $90 million in total value locked allocated to its tokenized US T-bills across Ethereum, Arbitrum, and now XRP Ledger. So they're just expanding. There are all sorts of platforms that are getting a slice of that hot T-bill action, right? Well, now the XRP Ledger does too. And that's a big jump up, starting with what Ripple's throwing in. That's pretty cool. And total value locked, that is a key metric. So, I don't know that people, when they're investing, they're just looking, well, what's the total value locked number? And then they're like, well, it's high. I throw money in. I don't think that's it. I think it's more so that the blockchains that have thriving ecosystems, there happens to be total value locked, which is why it makes sense to look at that particular metric. It's, again, I don't think people are staring at the number. What's the total value locked number? Now, there are some people who, kind of break stuff down, like the blockchain backer talks about, like he identified, that's a key metric. Like the coins that have higher total value locked, those are the ones to run. So there are, on a smaller scale, there are individuals that will look at that. But I'm just saying, if you're talking about behaviorally, what are humans doing when it comes to investing in crypto? I don't think they're parsing it out like that. I don't think they're sufficiently complex to even look at it like that. The typical person, the typical lemming retail inspector. I just think they're like, the money flows where it flows. So if something looks like it's getting adopted, it's getting used, I think it's more in line with that. That's my speculation. That's my hunch anyway. I think it's much more simple than that for the typical person anyway. But this is useful information to have. And so seeing that the total value locked on the XRP ledger is increasing, whew. And so we already know, if that is the way, if I'm right, if my hunch is right, and that's how humans broadly speaking are behaving when it comes to investing, well, they've already decided XRP makes sense, which is why it's always been in the top 10 coins by market cap for its entire existence for over a decade. And we just keep seeing this metric tick to the upside, along with a ton of other metrics, like new wallet creation, now at over 5.2 million. When I jumped into crypto in 2017, back in 1992, basically, there were less than 700,000 wallets. And here we are, all these years later, and it's over 5.2 million. XRP and the XRP ledger, alive and well. Let me just say that. And then they wrote here also, we look forward to working with Ripple team to drive greater market adoption for tokenized real-world assets, or RWA for short, across a broad range of use cases on the XRP ledger ecosystem. So folks, this is just the start, presumably. You'll love to see it. You want to see this adoption. But what about developer activity? Is this something that we should be very scared about? Well, there's this post by my fellow XRP YouTuber Crypto Eddie, and she is absolutely a wealth of knowledge, and shout out and credit to her. And she is accurately reporting just data that has been made public. But I do have some commentary and additional perspective I want to add on top of that, but she is absolutely correct in what she's reporting here. And she wrote, Electric Capital LLC, well known for analytics, tracks developer activity. Some one-year comparisons. ETH devs, and I'll just note, I don't need to read literally everything, but she's noting that their report shows ETH developer activities down 10%. That's a one-year comparison, down 10%. Base, plus 14%. Stellar, down 6%. XRP Ledger, down 39%. Just to read part of it. So that's a massive decrease. What's going on? Are we in trouble here? Is that why XRP price hasn't been doing what we wanted to do the whole last year? No. I certainly wouldn't say that. As far as it pertains to Electric Capital, and here's their website, this is the updated data. 33 full-time devs. Now, before that, I saw one of my old posts, and this is in line with my memory, that it was 45 the full-time developers the last time they reported. Somebody else, I'll show you in a second, said it was 46. Either way, we're splitting hairs at that point. But 33 devs to go down? Well, here's the deal. I had a conversation with a Xrpl employee in December of last year, and I brought this point up. I was like, what's with this developer activity? So is this really all that's going on? And mind you, I wouldn't expect the developer activity to be anywhere as high as a platform like Ethereum, which has smart contract functionality. Because you can do more stuff with a platform like that, but there's also trade-offs. That's why Xrp is way better for payments. And so that's okay. That's perfectly fine. I wouldn't expect there to be a developer activity that's in line with Ethereum. There's never going to be a one-size-fits-all crypto. That's perfectly fine. But looking at the data, I was just like, what's going on with this? So I cited that figure and showed where I got it. And this particular Xrpl employee said, oh, no, that's not correct. There's no way that Electric Capital is reporting correctly. And I was told that Xrpl, by a Xrpl employee who told me this, Xrpl had more full-time employees than was cited at the time. The number, again, whether it was 45 or 46, I was told that they had more than that many full-time employees working specifically on the Xrp ledger. That's what I was told. So that was already wrong right there. So the way in which they're collecting this data, not right. I don't know what it is. That's what I was told anyway. And now the number just went down and there's more activity. So none of this really makes sense, right? Xrp community member Pompous Maxi, who has been tracking this as well, he responded to Crypto Eddie and said, okay, really? Last year they said 46, now it's down to 33 full-time devs? With all the new features in development? Something seems off. And I would agree with that assessment. And I already knew something was off. I don't know why. I don't know that it's intentional. It's probably just an honest mistake. I would certainly hope anyway. Although there's so much XRP hate out there in crypto, who the hell knows? I'm not going to make an assertion. I'm not saying they are. Just be clear. I'm not saying Electric Capital is intentionally doing something wrong. But I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why. I don't know why it's wrong, but it's about 100% chance based on what I've been told. It has to be. And it doesn't even make logically sense we'd be going in the wrong direction. Now, Crypto Eddie responded to Pompous Maxi, and she wrote the following. It might be due to the developer types. They track 8 different types, like single chain to multi-chain, established, newcomers, etc. And I think that's a great point. Maybe that's a factor in this, but I would still state that I'm confused as to how the full-time developers went down when it was already below what Xrpl employed. So I'm still confused about that. That still wouldn't answer like everything, but that's a perfectly insightful, reasonable point that Crypto Eddie brought up there. So what's actually causing this? Well, take a look at this. There's this post from Pompous Maxi in response to that, and he said, even Terra is ahead of XRP with 54 devs according to this. Terra's ahead of XRP. That's laughable. That can't be true. And then he says, but I believe their numbers are very limited. This makes the most sense to me. And what is he saying makes the most sense? This post from XRP community member Panos, who is building on the Xrp ledger. He's also an absolute wealth of knowledge. Great blog. I've shared a number of perspectives from him over the years. This guy is knowledgeable, for sure. And so there was this post, a thread dating back to February 18th of this year. Pompous Maxi wrote, do all these Xrp ledger projects suck, or is this a lie? And he shared a link. It's an article from the Crypto Basic. Over 1,500 projects now in the Xrp ledger ecosystem with multiple use cases. That's right. 1,500 projects being built. So says the Crypto Basic as of February of this year. And so Pompous Maxi again says, do all these Xrp ledger projects suck, or is this a lie? Or is 1,500 not enough? Why do I keep hearing that no one is building on the Xrp ledger? Over 1,500 projects now in the Xrp ledger ecosystem with multiple use cases. And so I responded to that and I wrote the following. According to Developer Report, there are only 45 full-time devs and 136 monthly active devs. Are those numbers incorrect? Because I doubt that small number of devs is working on 1,500 projects. So folks, think about that. If Electric Capital is correct, and again, the data at the time, 45 full-time devs, 136 monthly active devs, so some would be part-time, and just that small number of humans was working on 1,500 individual projects? No. And by the way, Pompous Maxi, maybe I'll pull up in a separate video, but he has this thread where he was individually, manually tracking each project, and I think he got into the hundreds. So there's a lot of stuff being built on the Xrp ledger. We just don't know about all of it. Well, because it's a decentralized ecosystem, you have to like hunt it down and find it. And he's compiling. He actually is, though. That's the thing. Like he's doing the manual labor, and he's been tracking that stuff. And so, and it also mentioned here this, and I shared a link to the developer report. It says 33 full-time devs. That is the new data. So clearly, what's happening, because of the time I posted this, I wrote 45 full-time devs, and I remember that being about right. That means that they're pulling data from the website, which has been updated. So that would be the current data. So it's basically refreshed. So my post, February 18th, and it shares the link, and this is the screen grab that it chose to automatically pull, showing 33 full-time devs. But again, that has to be because it's based on what is on the site right now, and they updated the page, in case anybody's curious. Panos responded to me, and this is what Pompous Maxi was sharing. And this is the best explanation, perhaps, that there is so far that I've seen anyway. I think this takes only Rippled by XRP Ledger Foundation into account, or Ripple's GitHub. You can't actually take into account all XRP Ledger projects since it's impossible to find most of them. For example, we at Anodos Finance, and that's his page right there on X. For example, we at Anodos Finance have 4 developers, and considering there are at least a few hundreds of projects active with at least 1 developer, do the math. Right, and so the data's bad. It has to be bad. There's too much stuff being built, provably being built. The number has to be way higher than that. Even just based on what Ripple told me in December, I already knew then. So the fact that they're reporting a decrease, I just don't buy it. I don't, why should I buy it? I don't know why it's being reported that way, but I do not believe it. And if they were so little interested in XRP, why does the rest of the world disagree? Why is XRP still in the top 10? Why is there an increasing number of wallets? Why more developer activity? Why all this stuff? Why the ecosystem, which is clearly threatened? Why does that exist? And there's a decrease in developer activity. I don't see it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. So anyway, just want to share with you some thoughts. You guys let me know what you think. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.